All right, now since I'm out, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do a couple of these assignments with you, not for you, I guess. So what I want you to do is to write down what I write down while you watch the video, and then you can just transfer the final answer into Delta Math. And then I want you to turn this into me. Since I'm basically doing it for you, I want you to write it down so it's like you got something out of it. And I'm going to do two of them, one in this video, and there'll be another video. And like I said, just try to write them. You can even squeeze them all onto one sheet if you can fit it. Just write down what I write down, and we're good. So on the first one, now we have chord here. The chord just connects two parts of the circle and a tangent that comes in. And it says the measure of arc. An arc is just a curved line. That's why the symbol is a curved line. 276 degrees. IHV, that means you got to go right in order. I to H to V. So all that is 276. And what we want is angle VIS. So that's VIS right there. So we want this angle. Now the formula, when you have a tangent, what a tangent is it just grazes the circle. It hits it once. It doesn't go through it. It just hits it once at one single point. Now, if we take a look, it forms the angle with a chord. It could also be with a other line that goes all the way through it, but usually it's a chord. And these two lines right here kind of enclose this big arc. So all you do, the formula, the angle is half of the arc. So all you got to do, divide 276 by 2. $138. So then you just type that in, 138, and you'll be good to go. Second question, we got another tangent, and it's the same thing. It's a lot of the same things, just to help you try to remember. This one says arc WHA, so this whole thing, 260. Again, we want this angle. All you got to do, divide by 2. 260 divided by 2, 130. And it works for the smaller part too. The next question, that's what we have. I'm sure that this is on the screen. Should be good. Hope you saw the top part of that, but anyway. This time, instead of just a chord, it's a line that goes through, but this is still the tangent, which makes it the rule where you just divide by 2. Now, the question here says arc just NB is 90. So if it was going to be the big part here, you'd have to say NMB. If it just says NB, it'd be just that part right there. And like we said, it works for the small angle too. This one's is easier to see these two lines that make this angle kind of enclose this part of the arc. So this arc goes with this angle, and it's just divide by 2, 45. Tangent hits a circle once when you either have just a chord or a whole secant that goes through it. A secant is a line that just goes straight through, hits a circle twice. Either way, divide by 2 to change the arc into the angle. Now, this one, let me see. Try to draw it like it's on the screen. This one says that KR is the diameter. We want to look for the measure of GKR. GKR is this angle. Now, this is the diameter. The diameter cuts the circle directly in half. The whole circle in arc would be 360 degrees, just like it is for an angle 360 degrees. So if that cuts it in half, this is 180. Still, you take half, which makes that a 90-degree angle. And that's a separate thing that you don't even have to show like any of this. You just look at it and say, hey, wait, we have a tangent hitting a diameter. Automatically, you know it makes a 90. You don't have to divide 180 by 2. And it does it on both sides too, because if this is a straight line, that's got to be another 90. Now, let me see here. There we go. So we got, oops, that's a bad drawing. That's just supposed to hit once. I'll just make it thicker so it looks like it hits once. All right. Now this one starts you out with the angle. So this one starts you out saying that this already is 70, and it wants you to go backwards and find arc QJ. This is just backwards. So instead of dividing the arc by 2 to get the angle, we times the angle by 2 to get the arc. 70 times 2, 140. Done. Like on some of the questions, some of the other questions we did that weren't in Delta Math, like maybe what it would say is find the other arc. So you would just find the 140, and then the whole thing's 360. So 360 minus 140 would give you the other one. But that was it for that question. It's 140. Now, the next two are completing the square for the circles. I've practiced that with both of you. You should be able to do those. Yeah, you should be able to do those. There's no trick or anything. Yeah, there's no trick or anything in there. And then LJP. So after you do those two completing square questions on your own, because I've helped you both with them. Next question says, LJ Go right there, 147, VP, 67. Find the measure of angle LQJ. Now, when you have lines cross on the inside, all the ones you've done so far, they've been touching like on the border, the outside of the circle. When they cross on the inside, either one of these angles, because they're vertical angles, the formula is the angle equals the arcs. You add them and divide by 2. And during the quiz today, when you heard all the people complaining, it was just they didn't memorize that formula. So when they cross on the inside, you add them and divide by 2. So then you just break out your calculator, 67 plus 147. Make sure you hit enter, then divide by 2, or else your calculator, so you watch. Hopefully you can see this. You just type that in, it gives you the wrong answer, so just be careful. Hit enter after the top. So, yeah, you would have been able to see that. And lastly, the other rule that you missed for this kind of thing. This time, the lines cross or come to a point outside. See, inside the circle, outside the circle, and these were on the circle. When it's outside the circle, what you do, it says GR is 180, WI is 64. It's almost the same formula as the last one. It's just instead of add, you have to subtract. But it's got to be the bigger minus the smaller, or else you get a negative. We got 180 minus 64. Hit enter. Divide by 2. 58. So there was that assignment. Like I said, just copy the questions down as we do them, and I'll take those from you on Monday. And type your answers in, and I'll give you the full credit.